Everything starts with Rin and Sei playing a match, and completely surpasses Rin. Sei then asks Rin what the heck he wasted the 4 years on while he was gone. Back in the present, we see Ego reading a document that reveals Rin has great admiration for Sei. Then, the president of the Football Association calls Ego, telling him that the incompetent players of Blue Lock won't be able to defeat Japan's U20 team. But Ego smirks and confidently states that Blue Lock will revolutionize Japanese football. Later, Ego gathers everyone and announces that out of the 300 participants, only 35 remain, and that the match against Japan's U20 team will take place in 3 weeks. The winning team will earn the right to represent Japan, but if they lose, it will mean the end of Blue Lock. He will select the 6 best players to be the leaders. The chosen players are Rin Itoshi, number 1, Ryusei Shido, number 2, Tabito Karasu, number 3, Ada Otoya, number 4, Kenyu Yukimiya, number 5, and finally, Nagi, number 6. Ego explains that these 6 players will form 3 groups and rotate among all the players to see who complements them best. Then, Ego dismisses the top 6 to a separate location and tells the remaining players that their mission isn't to admire the top 6, but to strive to surpass them. We then cut to the room where the top 6 are gathered. Kenyu Yukimiya introduces himself to Nagi, but Nagi, engrossed in playing Free Fire, barely acknowledges him. Suddenly, Ryusei arrives and tries to befriend Rin, but Rin coldly tells him not to bother him. This escalates into a fight, with Rin telling Ryusei to leave him alone. Ego intervenes and reminds the top 6 that they are at the peak of Blue Lock and should behave accordingly. Everyone gathers in the lobby to see which team each player selected. Isagi decides to join Rin's team, and Bachira chooses Rin's team as well. Meanwhile, Reo ultimately decides to join Nagi's team. We see that the first match of these newly created groups is about to begin in 4 minutes. For the first match, 3 random participants from Team A are selected: Nijiro, Hiyori, and of course, Isagi. They are then instructed to put on their team jerseys and head to the field. On their way out, Nijiro and Hiyori introduce themselves to Isagi. Suddenly, the 3 of them step onto the field where Ryusei greets them, mocking them by calling them rookies. Rin is surprised to see that Isagi chose his team to play. Then, the members of Team B arrive, and Tabito instructs his rookies to focus on defense. It is announced that the first team to score 5 goals will win the match. The game begins with Rin passing the ball to Ryusei. Otoya blocks Ryusei, forcing him to pass the ball to Isagi. Isagi then passes it back to Rin, who returns it to Isagi. Isagi shoots for the goal, but Chigiri kicks the ball away before it can happen. However, Ryusei, moving faster than a missile, takes the ball. Isagi assumes Ryusei will pass it to him so he can score, but to his surprise, Ryusei only plays for his own benefit and scores an impressive goal. The second round starts with Tabito Karasu holding the ball. He plays with Isagi, making him feel like a complete novice. Ryusei tries to assist, but Tabito blocks both Ryusei and Isagi before scoring a goal, showcasing his professional skills. Hiyori explains that Tabito is known as the Assassin because he exploits a player's weak point relentlessly. The game resumes and Rin passes the ball to Ryusei, who then passes it to Isagi. However, Karasu intercepts because he is determined to crush Team A by targeting Isagi. Ryusei and Nijiro step in to support Isagi, but Karasu shoots the ball. But suddenly, Otoya appears with ninja-like speed and stealth, stealing the ball and scoring a goal. The next round begins with Rin holding the ball. Since Karasu is blocking Isagi, Rin decides to pass the ball to Hiyori, who quickly passes it back to Rin. Surrounded by opponents, Rin activates his hidden abilities and shoots the ball through a small gap, scoring a goal and tying the game at 2-2. Both Otoya and Karasu acknowledge that Rin is on a completely different level. In the following round, Chigiri decides it's his time to shine. He becomes faster than Flash, impressing Karasu, who passes him the ball. Chigiri then passes it to the ninja, who scores another goal. The team's leaders congratulate him for his efforts. The game resumes with Rin passing the ball to Hiyori. As the match progresses, Hiyori passes it back to Rin. However, Ryusei intercepts the pass recklessly, causing both of them to fall. The ball ends up with Karasu, who immediately scores a goal. Furious at Ryusei for such a reckless move, Rin looks ready to give him a beating. So, Isagi thinks that the method for him to contribute to the team is by being the intermediary between Rin and Shido. The new game begins. and Shido passes the ball to Rin, who then passes the ball to Hiyori. Isagi shouts at Hiyori to pass him the ball, but Tabito tells Isagi that he won't let him play well. In a complex play between Hiyori, Nijiro, and Isagi, they manage to get the ball to Isagi, and Ryusei tells Isagi to pass the ball. So, Isagi passes it to him, and Shido makes a pretty wild play, scoring a goal. The game starts again, and Isagi wants to score a goal. Since Tabito Karasu wants to take advantage of Isagi, Rin interferes and tells Isagi that he can't handle that guy. So from now on, he will take care of it. Suddenly, Isagi steals the ball. Since Otoya tries to block Isagi's way, Isagi passes the ball to Nanase, who then passes it to Hiyori. As Chigiri tries to confront Hiyori, Hiyori passes the ball to Ryusei, but Hiyori kicks the ball so hard that it goes over Ryusei and reaches Isagi. Isagi fails to reach the ball, allowing the kid to get it. Rin, being an ultra super player, manages to kick the ball before Karasu and scores a goal, tying the game 4-4. But since Isagi messed everything up, he feels like a loser. The last game begins, and everything is very close. Karasu throws the ball towards the goal so that Chigiri can take it and try to score. But faster than lightning, Ryusei arrives and steals the ball, passing it to Nijiro, who then passes it to Isagi. But then Karasu arrives and tells him that he'll finish him off. Then, Isagi passes the ball to Hiyori, and everyone follows Hiyori, while Isagi is thinking about how to break all his limits and score a goal. But suddenly, the inner Biju that Isagi has awakens, unlocking his potential and allowing him to score a super goal. Isagi scores the final goal to win the game. Afterward, everyone congratulates Isagi, including Ryusei and Rin. We see Ego watching Isagi on the screen, saying that Isagi has set foot on the psychic field where miracles happen. Isagi and the other guys from his team are watching the next match, which is about to start, and it's none other than Team A against Team C. The game begins when Nagi passes the ball to Ryo, and the two of them, passing the ball between each other, dodge Ryusei. Then, Ryo passes the ball to Nagi, but a very tall guy named Ishiukari heads the ball back, allowing Rin to get the ball. Ryusei asks Rin for the ball, but Rin ignores him and passes the ball to Igarashi. However, Ryo faces him, and Shido says some insulting words, causing Igarashi to get scared, pass the ball. But the strange guy, Gagamaru, catches the ball with his leg, and the ball ends up in the hands of one of the top 6 players, number 5, Yukimiya Kenyu. Kenyu says that he is the best 1 versus 1 player in Japan, and shoots to score a goal from midfield. And of course, we're talking about Nagi, but Nagi manages to score a goal immediately. The game begins again, and Ryusei passes the ball to Rin, who kicks it towards the tall guy, and he heads the ball towards Ryu. Ryu passes it to Rin, who immediately scores a goal. As Ryo watches all these epic plays, he remembers that his millionaire parents didn't want him to be a footballer, and told him he would never make it. Kenyu and Rin fiercely compete for the ball. Rin kicks it, and the ball reaches Ryo. Suddenly, Ryo breaks all his limits and kicks the ball so fiercely that he scores a goal. And we discover that Ryo's ability is called Chameleon, which allows him to copy a move from any other player with 99% accuracy. However, later on, Rin scores another amazing goal, causing Team C to lose, and Nagi tells Ryo that he was incredible. Later, we see the final match where Rin and Shido are fighting over the ball, and even though they win, Bachira comments that those two are going to end up killing each other. Sure enough, the two start beating each other up, and Ryusei is about to deliver a massive kick to Rin, but Ego electrocutes Ryusei. Then Ego informs everyone that all the tournaments are over, so there will be no more tests, and in 20 hours, he will announce the results. Hours later, we see all the players waiting for Ego's decision, and tells everyone to prepare mentally, because he's about to announce the players he selected. The first is none other than Rin. The goalkeeper will be Gagamaru. The center backs will be Ryu and Nico. The fullbacks will be Chigiri and Bachira. The next player, who will assist in defense, is Karasu. The defensive walls on the wings will be none other than Ada Otoya and Yukimiya Kenyu. Now it's time for the players who will form the attacking core. The first is the super talent Nagi, and the second is Isagi Yoichi. Kenyu asks Ego why Baru isn't on the team, considering he scored many goals and is ranked 2nd. Ego basically says that if Shido remains in the game, he'll ruin everything by fighting with Rin and that he has zero compatibility with any player. Meanwhile, we see Ryusei tied up like a madman, yelling at Ego to let him out of there. Suddenly, Sai Itoshi arrives and tells Ryusei that he wants to release him. This makes Ryusei very happy. While Sei walks down the hallway, he encounters Oliver, who proposes a deal to let him play without Shido. And if they win without Shido, it means they don't need him. However, if they lose, Sei tells him he will leave the team, although Sei is unaware that Oliver has a plan in case that happens. The next morning, everyone prepares as the day of the match arrives, although Nagi's first action is to play Free Fire. Throughout Japan, the Under-20 Championship is being announced while Oliver exercises. Preparations for the tournament begin, and Rin reflects on his childhood with Sei. As night falls, everyone arrives at the match, but honestly, they are only there for Sei. Isagi's parents enter the stadium, and suddenly the lights go out as they are ready to start the tournament. The boys wear the official blue lock uniform for the first time. Suddenly, Ego arrives and shows all the players who will be on the bench and informs them that for some reason, Shido was disqualified from the opposing team at the last moment. When the boys go out, they encounter Japan's Under-20 team. Rin stands next to his brother without saying anything. Suddenly, everyone is heading onto the football field. The players introduce themselves before all of Japan. The commentators say that all of Japan has its eyes on this tournament. The game begins with Rin passing the ball to Isagi, and Rin, Nagi, and Isagi pass the ball back and forth several times. Isagi passes the ball to Bachira, who faces a guy named Hayate Haru, but easily gets rid of him and passes the ball back to Isagi. However, Oliver appears and prevents Isagi from taking the ball. Oliver tells Isagi that he won't let him score a single goal. Isagi realizes that Oliver is the true GOAT of Japan's Under-20 team. The game starts again, and Chigiri passes the ball to Isagi. Isagi immediately passes it to Rin, who then passes it back to Isagi. Isagi considers passing it to Otoya, but Otoya faces a monk named Darai, so he passes the ball to Yukimiya Kenyu. Suddenly, a guy named Neru tells Yukimiya that he looks very cool. Yukimiya, with his super skill, leaves Neru behind. However, Neru catches up to him as fast as Sonic and ultimately takes the ball away. Although Nagi manages to catch the ball, a very annoying defender starts bothering him. Oliver takes advantage of this and steals the ball. Isagi tells us that these four are the iron wall of the Under-20 team. Sei Itochi receives the ball and passes it to a guy named Kento. Kento then passes it to another player called Kitsune. Karazu faces that player, so he passes the ball to Sai. As Chigiri and Nico try to hold him back, Sai passes the ball to Sendu, who kicks it to score a goal, but Gagamaru prevents him from scoring. However, Sei Itochi arrives just in time to grab the ball and kicks it into the net for a goal. All of Japan goes wild with happiness because Sei scored a goal. This makes Isagi feel very bad. Rin tells him not to be afraid because he is still here. The Under-20 players go to congratulate Sei, but he scolds them, saying he had 3 opportunities to score, but passed the ball for them to score instead, and they didn't do it. He calls them losers. The game starts again, and a guy with heavy bags under his eyes confronts Rin, telling him it's impossible for him to score from there. Rin shuts him up and passes the ball to Isagi, who then returns it to Rin. The Under-20 players realize that Rin and Isagi are playing excellently as a team. Rin then makes a backward pass, allowing Bachira to take control of the ball. Meanwhile, Isagi decides to stop following Rin to pursue his ego. But Oliver appears with his Super Saiyan Ki and stops Isagi, while Bachira makes an incredible pass to Rin. From the same angle where Sei shot, Rin attempts to score, but narrowly misses. The ball now goes to Yukimiya Kenyu, but the White Sonic appears again. Despite this, Yukimiya kicks the ball to score a goal, but Oliver prevents him from doing so. Otoya reaches the ball and shoots for a goal, but this crazy guy sticks his face in front just so they can't score. Suddenly, something epic happens in this chapter. Yes, friends, Nagi impresses the football world with that move, and all of Japan goes crazy over that move. The match continues, and the ball goes to Sei, who is immediately confronted by Rin, who asks what kind of brother he is for not even bothering to greet him. The two begin to compete for the ball. However, Sei is too skilled, so he surpasses Rin and tells him that as long as he continues to act like his younger brother, he will never surpass him. Sei passes the ball to Sendu, but as the ball falls, Nico's thinking about what strategy to use. He manages to kick it and sends it to Karazu. Karazu informs us that he analyzed the iron wall of Japan's Under-20 team, but found a small hole. He passes the ball to Otoya. As this player tries to confront him, Otoya passes the ball back to Karazu. When things get tough for the other under-20 members, Oliver Aiku appears. Otoya tricks everyone with the strategy Karazu invented, making them believe that he and Karazu are a duo, and sends the ball to Chigiri, the fastest player in Blue Lock. Since Oliver covers everything on that team, he tries to stop Chigiri. Chigiri then enters Ultra Speed, like Pikachu using Volt Tackle. As Karazu is alone, Chigiri passes the ball to him, but suddenly Sei appears and takes the ball away. This causes the ball to end up in Rin's hands. However, Oliver shows up again, telling Rin that he won't let him score. Oliver thinks Rin won't be able to score because it's difficult for him, but Rin proves him wrong by scoring a goal. All of Japan rejoices as Rin Itoshi shines on the field. The craziest part is that Blue Lock is winning the tournament. Sei puts pressure back on Sendu, telling him they are losing because of him and calling him mediocre. He warns that because of him, everyone will be expelled from the under-20 team. Only minutes remain in the game. The game starts again with Sei having the ball. Sei passes it to Sendu, who then passes it to a guy named Teru, while Bachira and Isagi start facing off against him. Teru then passes the ball to a player named Cho. Nico dives in to disrupt Cho's play, but Cho kicks to score a goal. However, he kicks it awkwardly, allowing Gagamaru to prevent the ball from going in. The game time ends, but since it's so epic, they add one more minute. But things get tougher because Sei has the ball again. Sei makes some crazy moves, intentionally kicking the ball towards Sendo for him to score. However, Rin is in that spot and takes the ball away from Sendo, sending it back to Sei. Sei then tells Rin, "Rin, you're too annoying, little brother," and delivers a powerful kick aiming for a goal. However, by pure luck, Ryu stops that ball that was flying as fast as a meteor. At that moment, time runs out. Thus, Blue Lock leads at halftime in the tournament. The coolest part is that Shido is laughing because all of this is part of Oliver's plan. Don't worry, you'll understand soon enough. Meanwhile, Chigiri's family greets him, and the top 6 players want him to introduce them to his sister. Suddenly, Ego arrives and tells everyone they did a good job, but to prepare, because the under-20 team will come at them with everything they've got. Meanwhile, Sei enters the meeting of the under-20 team and announces that he will withdraw from the tournament since he bet with Oliver that they couldn't win without Shido. He calls everyone losers and states that he believes Blue Lock will surpass them all. As Sei leaves, Oliver tells him that he acknowledges they suck, and Sei responds that it doesn't matter anymore because he's leaving. However, Ryusei tells Sei that if his presence isn't enough to make him stay, then what is? Sei realizes that Oliver's plan was always to use Shido as a checkmate to make him stay. So, Sei tells Ryusei that from now on, the two of them will be the stars of the match. Shido makes a devilish face. Meanwhile, Rin is deep in thought, reflecting on everything he experienced in his childhood with Sei, up until the day Sei left for Spain to play for Real Madrid. After Sei left, Rin took his place on the former team and became quite good. Years later, one night it started snowing, and suddenly Rin realizes that Sei has returned. Sei tells Rin that he is no longer interested in being the best forward in the world, but rather the best midfielder, which devastates Rin because he played to be the second best forward after him. The two have an argument because Sei doesn't want Rin to base his life on being like him. They play against each other, and since Sei scores, he asks Rin what the hell he has been doing for these 4 years while he was gone. Rin snaps back to reality when Isagi tells him that the second half is about to start. As both of them step onto the field, they encounter Shido, who smiles upon seeing them. Ego wonders why Sei wants Ryusei in the game when he couldn't even control him. Ryusei tells Rin that he will prove who the true number 1 is. The game begins, and Ryusei starts moving faster than Flash. Nico comments that Ryusei's ego is so high that for him, everyone is an enemy in this game. Sei makes a powerful kick and sends the ball to Ryusei, who then passes it to Sendo. Everyone realizes that Sendo is supporting Ryusei, just as Isagi did for Rin. Eventually, the ball reaches Sei Itochi. Sei passes the ball to Shido, who's about to score a super goal, but Nico appears and prevents him from scoring, injuring Ryusei in the process, which earns him a yellow card. Shido tells Nico that he will pay him back for that. He attempts to strike Nico, but Sae tells him to calm down. We also see that Nico injured himself while kicking Shido. Now it's time for free kicks, and Shido tells Sae that he will take it. Ryusei informs Sae that he is going to use a very difficult technique. He launches to kick the ball, but doesn't actually do it. It's just a feint to scare Blue Lock players. However, Sei actually prepares to kick it, so Chigiri thinks Sei will pass to Shido. Being the fastest, he rushes to stop it, and just as Chigiri thought, Sei sends a super pass to Shido, but Chigiri couldn't reach the ball because it was too fast, and Shido takes advantage of this opportunity, scoring a hyper mega goal. This allows them to tie with Blue Lock, and everyone in Japan goes crazy over this victory for the Japanese under-20 team. Isagi notes that Sei's secret is that he understands Shido's playing style, something Blue Lock has never been able to do. Meanwhile, it seems Chigiri has gotten injured, and Ego declares it's time to use the players on the bench. Ego substitutes Chigiri and Nico for Reo and Hiyori. The match starts again with Rin passing the ball to Isagi, who then passes it to Hiyori. Dare will confront him, so Hiyori passes the ball to Karasu and distracts the under-20 players by making a backward pass to Hiyori. Hiyori makes a super pass directly to Nagi. As this annoying player tries to block him, Nagi passes the ball to Isagi, but Oliver appears and ruins Isagi's opportunity. The ball ends up with Sei, while Reo remembers that he only entered the game for one reason: to stop Shido. Sei passes the ball to Shido, who advances with all his skills, and we see Reo copying Oliver's defensive skills in an attempt to stop Shido. And everyone in Japan goes crazy over Ryo's spectacular defense, while Shido tells Sei that playing with him is very entertaining. Sei responds to Shido that he is completely insane, and the game starts again. Ryusei, like a predator, goes after the ball. Suddenly, Sei passes the ball to Ryusei, but Reo arrives again and tells him that he won't let him score a goal. Because of Reo, he misses, so Gagamaru throws the ball again. But Sei takes the ball and makes a super long pass. Although Shido is speeding behind the ball, Gagamaru intercepts it with his head. At that moment, as the ball moves away again, all the chi of a Super Saiyan Rose appears in Shido's body, but suddenly Shido enters a Saiyan state and kicks the ball from midfield, scoring a goal. The Japanese say that this guy is among the best in the world. Isagi thinks that what just happened is surreal. Worried, he goes to Ego and asks what they can do to avoid losing. But Ego tells him not to be foolish because, at this point, what Blue Lock has achieved is already a triumph. Winning the first half and Shido's awakening are victories for him and part of his plan. He says that even if Blue Lock disappears, they will still be stars, and different world-class teams will welcome them. But Isagi tells him that he doesn't care about Japanese football and wants to win now. So Ego says he will use his emergency plan and tells Baru that it's time to go onto the field. They take out Otoya and Baru comes in. The game starts again, and Rin passes the ball to Hiyori, who passes it to Isagi. But Isagi realizes too late to take the ball, so Baru steals it from him. Ego says that Baru's style makes no sense. He moves solely by perception, which affects even those who know football best. He shoots for a goal but fails, and the ball reaches Kenyu Yukimiya. Kenyu activates a Byakugan and shoots the ball with all the pressure in the world, but Oliver Aiku appears and puts his head into play to prevent that goal from being scored. The ball eventually reaches Rin, and since Oliver is in his prime, he faces Rin again, not allowing him to attempt a goal in any way. The ball goes back to Sei, who acknowledges to Oliver that he recognizes he is very good. However, Karazu confronts Sei while Shido faces Reo and manages to surpass him by dodging. Sei shoots the ball for Shido to catch and try to score, and Shido kicks the ball with tremendous force. But miraculously, Gagamaru stops it, and the ball goes to Reo. Reo copies Nagi's super technique and passes the ball to Nagi, who then passes it to Isagi. Suddenly, Baru appears, wanting to take the ball away. But since the monk doesn't leave him alone, Baru doesn't bother Isagi and changes his strategy. Isagi passes the ball to Rin, who then passes it to Karazu, who has come closer to support the team. Karazu passes it to Isagi. Isagi makes a rather difficult pass to Nagi, one that only Nagi can control, and then Nagi passes it back to Isagi for him to score. But at that moment, Sae appears. Sae tells Isagi that he has a good brain for games. However, Isagi decides not to give up, and his shi explodes. But Rin appears and tells him not to give up. With difficulty, Isagi passes the ball, but Oliver also comes in to fight for it. Then, the unexpected happens. Wow, and all of Blue Lock starts celebrating. While Shido tells Sei that he will bring the Blue Lock players down a notch, the game starts again, and Sei decides to raise the level of play, making Isagi feel like a rookie. He also surpasses Baru and Karazu, and the same happens with Yukimiya. Suddenly, Sei makes a super pass to Shido, and just as Shido is about to kick the ball, Rin gets in the way and is strongly hit by Shido. Isagi realizes that Rin wants to catch his brother at all costs. As most of the opposing team is distracted, Reo takes advantage to make a super pass to Nagi. Suddenly, Bachira appears and tells Isagi that he also wants a goal. The ball returns to Isagi, but Baru immediately shows up. The ball goes to Bachira, which awakens his inner beast, raising Bachira's level to an insane degree. He surpasses all the defenders of the U20 team. Incredibly, he manages to get past Oliver. He kicks the ball towards the goal, but for the first time in the entire game, Sendo shines and prevents that goal from going in. Oliver then makes a super pass to Sei. Sei passes the ball to this guy and shoots for goal, but Rio doesn't allow it, and the ball goes back to Sendo, who shoots to score, but Nagi's and Baru's heads prevent it. The ball reaches Sei again, who passes it to Oliver, and he kicks the ball like a Super Saiyan, but Rin doesn't allow him to score. The ball returns to Sei, who will take a free kick to score. Rin thinks that the shot will go to Oliver, but no, it goes straight to Shidu. Rin feels that his life has no meaning because he couldn't defeat Sei. Suddenly, Isagi appears, possessed, and kicks the ball. Rin gets angry and awakens the Tenseigen, the dojutsu of the Hyuga in Naruto. And faster than a meteor, yes, I mean this meteor, Rin reaches the ball. This attitude impresses Sei. Rin's behavior begins to scare both the Blue Lock players and the U20 team. Rin starts to use all the weaknesses of the U20 players to his advantage, breaking their egos and humiliating them one by one. Now he's on his way to face Oliver, who knows that if he allows himself to be humiliated by Rin, it will be his end. But Oliver realizes that Rin is superior to him at that moment. Suddenly, the crazy Shidu shows up and tells him that he won't let him score. However, Rin brushes past everyone and suddenly breaks Oliver's ego with a feint. Even so, Oliver tells him that it's not enough to defeat him. Rin shoots an ultra-powerful kick, but by a millimeter, Oliver intervenes, causing him not to score. The ball goes to Sei. We see that although time has ended, they give an additional minute of play. Sei speeds towards the goal, and suddenly he is in front of Rin. Sei tells Rin that he hopes it's clear that Rin only plays football for him, meaning for Sei, just to defeat him. Rin begins to understand what Sei has always told him. We see dozens of demons tormenting him with thoughts, so Rin decides that he will play purely out of selfishness. In a moment of distraction from Sei, Rin kicks the ball. Oliver tries to reach the ball but can't. However, Isagi manages to reach it and scores a goal. That's right, friends. Blue Lock wins. Remember to subscribe, and we will see you next time.